What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another session of Tottenham Therapy, your second last session of the season. Tottenham have lost 2-1 at home in their last home game of the season, which could potentially be Harry Kane's last home game at Tottenham Hotspur. Last time he could be pulling on that famous lily white shirt in N17. We've got a lot to get through. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people in the back end. There's a lot of people that want to have their say today. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and let's speak to Grandpa. Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, guys. Hi, guys.
How are you? Hi, Grandpa.
Well, what does one say? I think the last match, I was praising Ryan for playing roughly the same team, and they played as a team and they played together. The changes he made, they didn't play like a team, and I think it was a sin, absolute sin, not to play Bale. I mean, as soon as Bale came on, that short time he was there, he was the man of the match. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And playing Winks, was a mistake. He should have brought Dombele on right at the beginning in the centre there. Winks was washed away. And as soon as Reguilon let that goal in. He should have changed him then, or if not changed then, he should have changed him at half time because he lost all his will to play. And it was ridiculous. He should have brought Lamella on instead of Winks, and perhaps even brought Moura on to push it, but he didn't, and he didn't make his changes till far too late. If Bell, I really believe, if Bell was playing from the beginning, then it wouldn't have happened. We would have still won.
Well, he claims that because Bell played near 90 minutes on Sunday, he wasn't ready to play another 90 minutes.
Well, okay, then bring him on at halftime. But when he came on, he made all the difference. He made all the difference, and well, it was terrible. It almost impossible to give man of the match. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, Kane really was the best player. And he didn't play that well. I mean, Son didn't play that well. I would have put Moura on. They couldn't hold the ball. Even Holtby, who was the man of the match yesterday, wasn't holding the ball in the first half. It was pathetic. I didn't have very much. I think I put it all down to the manager. I don't think he would. He went away from something he was doing so well, was getting them playing as a team. Everybody knew where everybody was, and then he went away from it. No.
And now I'll get your opinion on. I don't know if you heard about what happened after the game today between. Obviously, we know Harry Kane. He clapped the fans and he kind of had a tear in his eye. That looked like, it definitely looked like a goodbye in that sense. But also, I don't know if you heard. So you know, at the end of every home game, every the last home game of the season, there's always a lap of honour with the players.
Right.
After the game, apparently. The fans were kept waiting for over an hour for the lap of honour for the players to come back on the pitch, and after half an hour of waiting, they were told to go home because they were told to go home as there would be no lap of honour, and a lot of fans were getting very angry. And then half an hour later, when most of the fans had gone, the players eventually came back out. I just want to know what like your opinions on that. Like, it seems like a whole mess at the moment.
Well, they're not being a team. They're not being a team. Yeah, and I think it's going to be sad. I think we're going to have a very tough season. It's fair chance now. We're not going to get into Europe at the moment.
Well, West Ham are losing at the moment.
West Ham are losing. So there's still
Arsenal just scored a third as well.
And but to do that, we've got to beat Leicester, who are playing pretty well. And I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand the basic things. You would think anybody, even somebody that's new to being a manager, would have basically played the best team he could play, and not to say, well, look, I'm not going to play them because they've been working too hard, or I want to save them to Leicester. And if they did want to do that, then bring on Moura, bring on Dombele, bring on Lamella. They've been well rested. Since they were both man of the match, they haven't played, and it's really, really poor thinking in my view. So I'm afraid I blame the manager in this lot.
Is that Kane's last home game in a Spurs shirt?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the biggest problem is getting somebody to pay the sort of money they want.
Yeah, I know, but he looked like he was saying goodbye, didn't he?
Pardon?
He looked like he was saying goodbye at the end. Did you see it?
He did. I agree, but who knows? He loves Tottenham. That's one of the issues for him, and I think if we got into, I think there was a chance that he might stay if we went into Europe. But
we're not even going to get Europa League at this point, let alone.
That's right.
And Champions
League. When we get to the conference.
No, we're going to get into the Conference League. You're right, and that's the most depressing thing in the moment. And I don't know where we go from here. Like, today's performance was pretty much what's been happening all season. Spurs shooting themselves in the foot yet again, and Kane is probably right to think why bother sticking around.
Well, you have to bother. You love the team. You love they've got a fantastic spot. Let's just hope that they can make some sense of of a new team, a reset really. And there's some good players around, um, and they'll be at the other teams will be letting people go. So we just need to get some players, get some pace, get like we had at the beginning. And we've kept a lot of it, but so much of it is just bad management. I really am, concerned that who we're going to get as a manager that can actually bring it together and actually encourage people to come because they believe and get behind whoever is the new manager or the new owner. Anyway, I think it was a pretty sad. We didn't even hit the woodwork.
The one thing that you can normally count on Tottenham to do.
That's right. We didn't even hit the woodwork. So anyway, let's look forward to perhaps a good game and the last game, and maybe we can just scrape through if it keeps going as it is at the moment.
Maybe we'll just about be in our hands by the end of this game. We'll have to wait and see. But even a draw puts West Ham above us, so it's unlikely. Yeah. And Arsenal winning as well, meaning they're only now a point. Huh?
We've got to beat Leicester.
Yeah, so right. Arsenal are a point behind us now with Brighton on the final day. So if we fail to beat Leicester, we could even end up 9th.
Yeah. Well, whether we're 8th, 9th, 7th, it doesn't really matter. I don't think not getting into Europe is just going to be bad for us, and we just have to reset and let's see what brilliance somebody can come up with in terms of getting a better team together.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to wait and see how the summer plays out. But Grandpa, absolute pleasure as always.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Grandpa, as always.
Yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't say anything positive though.
Don't be.
Positive or negative, it's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Well, the goal was actually that first goal was a good goal.
It was, and fair play to Bergwijn as well, who hasn't scored a goal all season. So
that's right.
It was important for him to get off the mark, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that was the only good thing that happened, and they certainly in the second half we got some very near misses. But there you go. Okay. Well, let's hope you get some bright ideas from everybody else.
All right, Grandpa. We'll see you soon.
Okay, cheers. Bye.
See you soon. Bye. We got a super chat here from Darkson G21 says West Brom is playing very well right now.
Great.
That's good to hear. At least if West Brom win, at least it keeps us in our own hands.
Nothing is in our own hands. We have we can't even beat. With no chance we're going to beat Leicester next week. No chance.
Never know. Stranger things have happened.
Well, let's get Brian Daigle on.
Oh, come on, Brian.
Brian, Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2. Sum that up for me.
Rest in peace, Tottenham Hotspur.
There used to be a football club there, as the great Keith Birkinshaw said.
I should be saying Kaddish right now for the Jewish people out there. we are done. Not just that, I didn't know, Simeon, what you just said about with the lap of honour.
Yeah.
Another lie from Daniel Levy. They're going to come out and do this. Our fans have to wait half an hour.
An hour. They had to wait an hour.
An hour.
They're waiting. Apparently what happened is they're waiting for the lap of honour. Apparently before the game they were told there was going to be a lap of honour, and they're waiting. Apparently after half an hour, the person on the tannoy says, make sure when you're leaving the stadium you're all socially distanced or something. And apparently it caused quite a lot of anger among some fans, and some bad fans even had to be escorted out, or something like that, because they were moving down the roads. You're not allowed to move when they're in the stadium because of COVID. And then after another half an hour, so after an hour of waiting, then the players belatedly came out for the lap of honour, and by that time apparently there's only a couple hundred fans left in the stadium.
So you charge £60, you come out with a statement full of lies, you promise something that you didn't deliver. Have we been there before, guys?
Many times.
Over and over and over again, Brian.
Do you know what? It's like I said, and it's like I said, I went on Bob's, but people think that I've been nice, or people think that I've been crazy and irate now. This is like me giving him a Nobel Peace Prize. I am now going to go levels
West
beyond
Ham
levels.
just scored, Brian.
What a bunch of cowards. And not just that, whoever the clown was, and I don't care if he watches your show, watches Tottenham Away, when the cameras went live, when Tanganga, who I hope is okay, was there, he stands up and starts singing, "Oh, when the Spurs go marching in."
Who's that?
I don't know. He said some guy on TV.
So there's a guy on TV, Tim, at the game. You probably saw it when Tanganga went down with his injury, and they all had the medical team. And like I said, I hope Jaffet is okay. He has had a rough. They pan around the cameras to see the Spurs fans, and there's a guy standing by himself, loud and proud, like this, screaming, "Oh, when the Spurs go marching in." We are a joke. We are pathetic. We are a mess. And you know what? Anyone, if Arsenal finish above us, well done. Don't care. Don't care. Anyone that has not come out and said leave you out and backs it up, anything that comes our way, you totally deserve it. Yeah. Kane goes to Chelsea now. I don't care. Go. You don't deserve this. I will not think badly of you. He does not deserve this.
But Chelsea, Brian, really?
I don't care. I don't care. Let him go wherever he wants to go. I don't care anymore. My main aim is to get, and I don't care if I'm by myself. I don't care what extremes I need to go to get this man out. I will do it. We had an opportunity. We had the protest you went to, Ben, and we are Tottenham TV went to. We had the Saturday. We had the Sunday. We had to. Where were THFC? Where was the trust? 5 of them handing out leaflets. Well, enough of the lies. Enough of the bull. Enough. It's come down to people like you, the other huge YouTubers that went all quiet. You are the one big YouTube group that have stuck by the fans and shared the fans' opinion and allowed the fans to come on, and you deserve the utmost respect for it. Utmost. And you heard what I had to say about you guys at the end of the pump up. You know how I feel about you guys. You guys honestly reign supreme when it comes to Tottenham YouTubers. I don't care how many subscribers and followers other people have got. You give the fans the voice, and now the international fans like myself have got to help you. This summer, we have to help you because this can't go on anymore. Kane's off, everyone's off, Son's off. Son, another huge game. Where were you?
Yeah,
where were you?
I mean, it was disaster all over the pitch today. Disaster. Harry Winks, disaster. Reguilon, disaster. Eric Dyer, disaster. I mean, the list goes on. The list absolutely goes on. I mean, where do we go from here, Brian? I cannot see where we go from here.
Mate, I've said it. We are going down, 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 and it'll keep going down until these parasites are out of our club. Until they're gone, everything that comes our way, for all those ENIC in people, you reap what you sow. The ENIC out people that had the chance to go and support you, support Tottenham away, support Tommy, support all the other Spurs fans that didn't turn up. Shame on you. You give it the big un on your keyboards and say everything, but when it truly counts, where are you?
It's hard to disagree, Brian. It's hard to disagree.
Yeah, and Harry Kane, you saw at the end of that game, didn't you? He looked like that was definitely a goodbye, didn't it?
Yep, I think Ben's donating £10 to a charity.
Not yet.
Very soon, sir.
Do you make a bet?
And do you know the worst thing is? I saw a comment. In a few weeks, he's going to be with England, and he's going to be locked in a camp where he can't get out, and he's going to have Kyle Walker, Raheem Sterling, John Stones. Bam, 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 bam. Come here, come here. Carl Walker will say, look what I've done. Phil Foden, who's had his first full season, has won more trophies than Harry Kane.
And he's got to look Eric Dyer locked in the face in that camp as well. Probably make him jump ship even quicker.
Oh, I'm not going to say what I want to say there because I won't do myself any favours. So, yeah, let's just say wicked.
Brian, anything else you want to get off your chest?
Just that I love you guys. Carry on doing what you're doing. Give the fans a voice that they need. If you need any help worldwide or Canada-wide to help your movement or anything you want to do, pick up the phone. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I need to walk to Vancouver, which is like a 4.5 day drive. I will walk to get whatever you need, whatever I can do. You've got it.
Brian, you're turning into the Proclaimers. You're turning into the Proclaimers.
Oh, mate, mate, but it's not hundreds of miles here; it's thousands. So I will do it, mate. You guys, like I always say, you are the catalyst. You are the platform that give the real fans the voice, and don't drown out the people they don't want to hear. You guys are honestly incredible, and anything I can do to support you getting these buffoons out, let me know, and it's done.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Very kind words.
Much appreciated.
But Brian, we need to move on. But thank you very much for calling in as always. And I think you're pretty much spot on as always. So we move on. Thanks a lot, Brian, for coming on.
Edie can leave you out.
Damn right.
Out. And guys,
Damn
see you
straight.
later.
Damn straight. And that is Brian, a very angry Brian, but very, it's completely understandable. Completely understandable.
Super chat here from Nigel Gates says, we ran circles around Wolves and then play fools today. No excuse for playing Ndombele. No excuse for playing Ndombele. Bale next week. Lock winks in the toilet.
And then Humphrey Aboagi says, a grandpa for technical director.
Jordan Croney, thank you for being a member. Thank you.
Welcome to the We Are Tottenham family.
And just in case you didn't get that while Brian was going on his run, West Ham have now equalised against West Brom. So it's 1-1 in that game, which means they go above us currently in the table with a draw because of our loss. So if West Ham do get any sort of points against West Brom, whether it be a draw or a win, they go into pole position going to the last day. So that's where that is at the moment.
All right, let's get Si on.
Hey, Si. Oh, I think he's on mute. Are you on mute?
Good start.
Oh, there you go. Got you.
Good start.
Si, I think Levy's trying to sabotage you after I know what you're about to say.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, I mean, been better. How are you?
Been better.
Yeah. Look, obviously, there's a lot to talk about, but sum up that game for me. Sum up your feelings.
The game is pretty much the epitome of the season.
Yeah.
Reguilón's own goal was the epitome of the season. All in one snapshot. When that goal went in, I was like, "This is our season." Like, gone. Like, it went ages ago, obviously, but that was just like a kind of an epiphany thing. It was really just frustrating. I'm really sad for the fans that got to go today to watch another abysmal performance.
Yeah.
And the fiasco at the end is, don't get me started. That programme note in general was just disgusting. The whole thing.
Talk to me about the programme notes. Talk to me about the programme notes.
Well, it's the audacity, isn't it? It's how long ago was this Super League thing was a joke. I know they did a club statement on the website, a couple of weeks ago, but not one public announcement from those guys that are responsible for arguably the downfall of this club for so long.
Yeah.
To what I didn't like about this, because it's very apparent to me, because of me being in marketing and stuff, that was written by a PR manager, not Daniel himself. Mm-hmm. It was like a roller coaster reading it, because at the beginning I was like tiny bit feeling sorry, and then they chuck in bits like, oh, but we helped with the NHS stuff, so at least we can show we can do some good things, right? And then started waffling on about, but we've spent 250 million, and I'm sat there going, how are you making it worse, guys? Because you've spent 250 million and we're now sat here all depressed and look at where we are on the table. Like, that's not something to shout about. And last season, the furlough stuff and the loans, I guarantee you'll probably sell Kane, and then a day later they'll go, we paid the loan off to the government. That's just, I don't know what to say about it. And then about that fan situation at the end of the game. Oh, I think my internet's going.
Still there?
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking a bit slower because sometimes it's because of that.
Slower than you already are. Bloody hell.
Yeah. It's that program was the notes. It's just not acceptable. Like, it's done. It's gone. It's like, leave the whole situation alone. Leave the fans alone. They don't like you. They don't want to read about you or what you have to say. And just at the end of the game, I didn't know myself until you guys just said, and that I can just imagine myself if I was there, and I'm sure you guys would be the same, waiting around like
for an hour. disgraceful keeping the fans waiting for an
I
hour.
would have left
after
after
the game.
15, 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, well, because I live so far away, I probably would have left 20 minutes afterwards anyway. But like, it's just summed up, hasn't it? It's summed up so many. It's not just this season, guys. It's so many seasons of really big opportunities to excel, and I'm gutted mainly because that big man up top hasn't won anything with us. And if he does go, like, obviously that's a possibility. Hopefully he doesn't, and something happens miraculously. But if he does go, it's probably the biggest thing, like the biggest loss to us in probably our history since a long time that has been allowed to happen. With the team that we did have a few years ago that could have been easily added to with a couple of players, just literally 2 or 3, didn't do it. Flopped backwards, put ourselves back a few years. These last 2 seasons have put us back at least 5 years.
Yeah,
because
agree.
There's no way we're going to get the investment. Even if we get a load of money for Kane, if he does go, that will not be reinvested properly. It'll be reinvested on cheap players, hopefully talented potential players, and then the rest of it will go into the pockets of you-know-who over in America. It's not going to happen.
You know.
I can hear Sam in the background. Like Sam, I feel sorry for him. He's always angry, waiting in the chats. But it's not going to happen. Last year I was sat at the train station saying to you guys, we need a couple of players. If we can get a couple of players at the back, especially, we can push on a bit. But we didn't do it. And now we're doing this. We're going to potentially lose our biggest player and arguably a couple more. It's so bad. I don't know what more to say about it.
It's awful, mate.
Everything
they go on about spending £250 million. Surely Steve Hitchen deserves a sack.
Why is he still there? I've said it in the chats a few times. Like, how can he be in the job? Like, we've all seen publicly what he's like. I don't like that. I would never want to work with someone like that. They're clearly friends, him and Daniel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's still there. He needs to go because he doesn't do his job. Daniel, whatever he's doing, he doesn't do his job either. He just, I don't know. It's too cliquey at that head level, and they've lost the principles of our club. More importantly, they've pissed us all off as fans. They've lost that loyalty connection, that connection to the club, the soul. I feel like the soul has gone. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole soul of the club is gone, and it's so depressing. Like
we're basically right now where we were under Tim Sherwood, pretty much.
I think you can go back further than that because Martin Jol, obviously fantastic manager, was the first one to get us back into European football. But compared now to probably the season before he joined, when we had Ramos.
At least we won a trophy that season.
Santini before him. That's how I feel like we've gone back to. So you can talk about progression in the stadium. Era. Say again?
That's pretty much at the start of Enoch's era.
Well, in 2001 he started with Glenn. Glenn was there. Mm-hmm. And, the stadium, yes, we've had some good European nights and stuff like this, but the players want the trophies, the fans want success. And if you're not going to get the trophies, you want to be pushing as much as you can to prove that you are trying. And we did that 3 or 4 years ago when we had the Pochettino season at Wembley, as well. It was a good season, which I thought it wouldn't be, bearing in mind we were away from home essentially. And I just don't. I've seen maybe a slight peak, and then the come down, and then it's like, well, hang on a minute. In any other job, you'd be gone by now. So why are these guys still here? Why? How? I'm just baffled. I want this season ending. I've wanted it to end for so long now this year. Same as last year. We just all want our Tottenham back, don't we? We want it back. We're going to have West Ham and Arsenal back.
Yeah, at least we ran the quadruple close, didn't we, Si?
Next year, get a couple of players in, please. Keep Harry and Nat. We'll get something. But oh god, that's
if we do
shocking.
that, we'll finish 6th.
Honestly, the last time I think West Ham finished above us was probably around 2007, and I remember it clearly because I remember someone talking to me. Yeah, it must be. And Arsenal's a fair few years, and that's the backwards.
4 years Arsenal.
It's backwards. It's so backwards. Leicester are a fantastic example of how to do it properly with recruitment, good players, good manager, etc. They're way ahead of us now, way ahead. We're kidding ourselves to think that we deserve to be up there. The last 3 seasons, we have not deserved to be in that top 4. We've been very lucky. We're not even in the top 4 anymore, so we can't even have that accolade of luck. We're lucky to be 6th.
And that lies 100% with the board. But Si,
it has to go. It has to be completely abolished in some capacity. New management. Joe Lewis is probably not going to sell, so he needs to have some balls and change that entire level underneath him, in the chairman level, recruitment level. If we do not do that, we're going to be sat here depressed next season, same time, same place, probably in a similar position.
Yeah, and look, Si, if it keeps going this way and the board aren't going to change, may as well just put Daniel Levy in as manager, because he has too much of a say in what goes on in this.
Well, he picked the team today, that's for sure. He picked the team today, picked the subs, no doubt about it.
All right, Si, we need to keep going. We've got a lot of people waiting, but thank you so much for coming on yet again, and we'll see you next time.
Come on, Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, I got a few super chats to get through here. Jerome Cloridor says, "I'm so sick of those one good game and then absolute shambles. Why did Dyer play again today? Can't even be bothered to give performance to the fans at home. Feel sorry to anyone that were there. Just disgraceful." And paid 60 quid as well. TJ Lewis says, "Defoe is the 87th player to win a trophy after leaving Tottenham since we've last won a trophy. If we can't have one, let Harry have one." I saw that stat going around. I don't think it's true, though. Boy Machiavelli says, "Appreciate all your work so far and agree with Brian Daigle. The fans need to come together collectively now to get ENIC out and take our club back." Completely agree with you. And Tommy Palmer, thank you for your super chat. No message, just super chat. Appreciate that. And Brandon SC, welcome to Gold.
Welcome to the family, Brandon. Good to have you. Any more to get through?
No, that's it.
All right, let's get Bob Spur on. Bob, I mean, we're feeling how you're looking at the moment. I mean, it's just an absolute shit show. Is he frozen? Or is he just looking?
No, that's an impression of the Tottenham defence, that was. Statues. Complete fucking statues.
Oh, brilliant. I thought you were proper frozen there, Bob.
You can always trust Bob to lighten the mood a bit, that's brilliant.
For sure. Oh, you have to, mate. Honestly, at a loss, it kind of feels end of an era of some sort. Yeah. Don't be surprised if we're going away to a team, Oldham-esque team, with relying on a Vinny Sandway's goal to fucking keep us up next season. It's taking me back to the mid-90s. It's just there's nothing there. It's all very well going ENIC reform, but they're winning. That's the way I look at it. Levy and ENIC are winning. No matter what we say, no matter what we try and do, it's not working. It's not working. They are,
Bob, because ultimately every single protest so far has been a complete and utter shambles and letdown.
Exactly, mate.
They must be looking at us as a fan base and just laughing their asses off, ENIC and Levy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They must be just laughing their faces off.
We thought when last Saturday when we turned up, it didn't turn out the way we wanted to. The message got skew with.
Yeah.
And the turnout wasn't great, but we thought,
Bob Spur Jr., by the way.
Yeah, by the way, yeah. I went away from it thinking, a bit disappointed, but at least it's a foundation set there. At least we've shown the way, led the way, started the way, and 50 people turn up next day, and 10, 15 today, if that. I don't understand, and I honestly can't understand the mentality. I know it might be a generational thing for the people who are 30 odd now, haven't known anything different apart from Levy. You know, we've got to know that's our top 4 consistent finish, but they must see the decline. They must see the decline. And talking of quadruples, we have done a quadruple. We're the first team to make Jose lose as many games in a season. We're the first team to sack a manager within under a week before a cup final. We're the first team to bring a 29-year-old schoolboy as a manager, and we're the first team to go out to a team whose manager's in jail. So we have done a quadruple in our own
that
way.
is a Tottenham quadruple I've ever heard one, Bob.
There you go. There you go.
And what did you hear about what happened after the game yesterday with the fans and just the whole absolute mess caused with the lap of honour and whatnot? Like, what do you make of that?
Well, you mean the lack of honour? I don't know. Yeah, lack of honour. I don't understand why. I mean, even the players are falling for. They're all going Levy-esque, and I don't understand that. Why would you not think that is the right? Regardless of the season, there are 10,000 supporters in there who, from what it looked like, weren't giving Enoch and Levy any sort of stick. So why not do that? Why wait to make it go toxic again? Mate, it's a shambles, isn't it?
It sounds like the fact the players weren't going to come out for the lap of honour, but after a bit of anger from the supporters, and after an hour they came out, but only when a few hundred fans were left.
Don't get it, Sim. Do you?
No, I think it's just they're trying again. It's like it's just classic Tottenham at the moment, hiding. Absolutely.
Hiding. They know they should be embarrassed, and it's a shambles, mate, top to bottom, and I cannot see. And there's a part of me, and I never thought I'd say this, and I know Brian. I don't know if he has been on. I hope Arsenal finish above us. It looks like though, because there's no way we're beating Leicester. And who they got in the last game?
Brighton.
There you go.
Oh, man, I just want to say, just for a big up to Shauna Blaney with an absolutely insane super chat. Super chat. £99.99 from Shauna Blaney.
Wicked.
Big up, Shauna.
Massive thank you. Massive thank you. She says, keep up the good work. Spurs may always seem to fail, but you guys are always here. But look, Shauna, absolutely, thank you so much for that. I can't. I hope
it wasn't a typo. But
yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm lost for words, to be honest. I'm lost for words. I just want to say thank you.
You get another super chat minus 99.92.
And it's gone.
I'm taken aback by that. Thank you so much, Shauna. I really appreciate that. It really does help support the channel. Super chat.
It just shows, though, Brian was exactly right, guys. You know, please take. I don't know what you can do with the power you've got, and I know you guys are humble, but you have got a bit of power with the amount of subscribers you've got. You must have a voice. You must have a voice that represents us within Spurs, and you've got to make the most of it. But how you make the most of it, I'm not sure. But we'll work something out.
The thing is, Bob, I get what you're saying completely. I completely get what you're saying, but I'm kind of losing the will a bit because, you know, we've spoken about these protests so much. We've gone down to these protests. I was even down in the stadium with John Cooper, just us two by ourselves. And the next time, there was a bit more people. And the next time there was a bit more people. But I'm just losing the will.
Charlie was the only one turned up, didn't he?
Charlie was there as well. But, you know, I don't know, like, yes, we've got a voice and yes, we're giving other people a voice, but we need people to listen and we need people to come and join us. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's a different strategy we need to take up, you know, because, or maybe, and I remember me and Stell sitting there for a part afterwards, I mentioned this before, looking at each other saying, we've misread the room. We're probably outnumbered. Why we're outnumbered, I have no idea. Why we're so outnumbered from what it seems like, I have absolutely no idea. But people aren't fussed, and I don't know what needs to happen. The ESL, Cody keeps on saying the ESL should have been the turning point.
Yeah, agreed.
Spot on. If that hasn't turned people, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But when you can't understand it, when you can't understand an opinion that's backed up, it's hard to accept, and it's horrible. And I honestly cannot, for once, I can't see even after Kane's sale, we'll get that money in. I don't even trust the board to spend it right.
You know, and the thing with Kane, you know, with him leaving, with what Kane brings to Tottenham, not just his ability as a player, but him as a person, him growing up through the Tottenham Academy, you can't recruit that. That is not something you recruit. That's not something that you can just buy. And the fact that we had it and we didn't make the most of it when we had him at the peak of his game and now he's leaving is a massive failure of the board. Absolutely,
it's a shame.
Massive.
It's a shame. You can't bring someone in and say, right, you've got to lead by example. You've got to make sure all these players. You got to make sure all these players look up to you, and you've got to lead by example. You can't, like you say, Sim, you can't buy that. You can't. Next one on the list is Højbjerg, but even him, mate, he was playing for 2 people today. Why put a shit show next to him who's going to keep on giving the ball away? Every time he tries to be clever and play a forward pass, he gives it away. He gave it away how many times today? And about Mason, you have to give her the benefit of the doubt and all that. No. Have a bit of balls about you, mate. If you're Spurs through and through and you're representing the club, mate, and I know it's easier said than done, of course it is, but have a bit of ball. You know Winks ain't good enough. Oh, it's a big mess, and it's going to take a miracle.
Ndombele did more in 15 minutes than Winks did in the whole night.
But we know that. Sim, we know that. All the Spurs fans know that. He's
hardly kicked a football since Mason's come in.
I don't know, mate. And you know, it's not going to happen. Everyone's expecting 6 or 7 players to go out. It's not going to happen. We're not going to sell 6 or 7 players.
We need 9, 10, 11 players to go out.
At least. Yeah, exactly. But it's not going to happen, Ben. You know that.
No, I know that.
We're gonna loan the likes of Skippy out, who we're relying on. We'll probably loan Scarlett out. We'll probably get rid of Ali and probably have a mega bid coming for Ndombele and sell him. But we'll keep the likes of Winks and mate. I don't want any manager in right now, even especially now. Keep on saying that. Get the board sorted first. Forget the manager. Forget the players. Sell Kane if he wants to go as a
at this stage.
Exactly. We need to get that fucking board sorted first. There's no point of being associated with anything or anyone else.
I'm not sure if you have you spoken about the lap of honour.
Yeah, we spoke.
Yeah, well, the lack of honour. The lack of honour.
The lap of shame. That's what it was.
That game summed up the season, didn't it?
100%.
Summed up the
season. 100%.
Summed up the season. Big up, legend guys. I know you got loads waiting.
Bob Spur, always great to talk to you, mate.
The legend.
Speak to you, mate. Speak to you in a bit.
See you later, mate. Cheers.
Another super chat from I Hate Marmite.
First of all, let's just go back to Shauna Blaney because she is an absolute legend.
I can't believe that she sent that through.
A few weeks ago, she sent another big one.
By that. She did. Thank you, Shauna. It's unbelievable generosity you send that. It does really does help support us. But let me read the I Hate Marmite super chat. It says, guys, we are going to have to lower our expectations as a fan base because we will be finishing mid-table for the next few years, especially when Harry Kane goes. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Emmanuel Strasser says, what's the song that played when H did his lap? I don't know.
Drifting away. Slowly drifting.
Goodbye, my lover.
Exactly, all of those.
Goodbye, my friend.
My heart will go on. Let's get Sam Chipek on.
Chippy. It's been a while since Sam's been on the channel. How are you doing, Sam?
Mr. Sam Chipek, we haven't seen you since the Cup final.
Good to see you, though.
Very good to see you, but today seems even worse than the Cup final. Can you sum up your feelings for me?
I think what the song should have been playing to begin with is "Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You." That should have been Harry Kane's top on the top. Genuinely, I'm not even in the mood for laughs or shits and giggles, man.
Fair enough.
This season has genuinely sucked the soul out of me.
Just before you go on, I've got a comment here from Jason Liel saying Sam Chipek, the god.
You're too kind, mate. I'm anything but a god. But well, yeah, it sucked the life and soul. I'm glad I didn't spend 60 quid feeding Daniel Levy's pocket for that rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad. I don't want to be that sort of person and say, doesn't help that fans go to this game. But having even said that, what a disgrace to hold them for more than an hour because players were not going to be doing a lap of honour. What a disgrace. This club this season, how can you perform from something so promising to then become just completely rotten to the core, all right? We're bragging about how many miles ahead we are from Arsenal, and now they're probably going to finish above us. We can't perform at all against half-decent teams like Villa. So how do you think we're going to perform when we play against Leicester, all right, who are a Champions League side? Just won the FA Cup too.
Yeah, pure facts.
Really agree.
I'm lost for words, Sam. I really am lost for words. I don't know what direction this club is going in. I have no clue who our manager's going to be. We want the board out. This club is rotten from top to bottom, including the fans, because the fans are just as toxic, and rightly so, to be honest, rightly so. But where is this club going, Sam? Where are we going?
We're not a football club. We're a business. That's what we are, all right? Any ambitions of getting players, all right, Levy would avoid that. Levy is more focused on more economic side of things and Enick of what this can bring to the club, all right? We didn't sign up for this. I want to be back at the old White Hart Lane, undefeated in the last ever season. Instead, literally, George even tweeted that himself when he was at the game. We're Tottenham Hotspur Stadium FC. That's what we are. The ambition doesn't go any past in that. Just to flex that you got a stadium. As Pochettino said in an interview with... it was either Jamie Redknapp or Michael Owen, I can't remember. A nice big mansion, but fuck all furniture. Excuse my French, sorry.
It's all good.
That's what Pochettino was saying, exactly. And that's how it feels at the moment. I feel like this whole club, a lot of the players as well, they were hiding behind Pochettino, they were hiding behind Mourinho, and now it's left for everyone to see.
There's nowhere left to hide anymore.
There's no place to hide.
Simeon, it's a food chain. The players are hiding behind the manager. Manager, if, he's being, liked by our chairman, is hiding behind the chairman, and Daniel Levy is hiding behind the fans. That is what the chain is. Daniel Levy has just been so snide, so sneaky at pretty much everything to sack Jose Mourinho, if it's true, the rumour, because it's cheaper, and then we end up losing a cup final. Let's talk about the game, man. Let's talk about the game.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot that needs to be said, including the certain starting lineup that Ryan Mason decided to go for.
Well, let's start off with the starting lineup, and then talk me through your assessment of the game.
Well, the starting lineup, all right. I mean, if anyone was to do their homework, you don't start Winks or Højbjerg together. I mean, we learned from that at the first game of the season against Everton, and we lost that game. Ndombele, as soon as he came on, he was doing stuff that our midfielders couldn't do at all. From being in such tight corners and tight pockets of other players to be able to get that ball past them. Whereas Winks, Højbjerg, it's just sideways passing the whole time.
And he showed that when he came on, didn't he, Sam?
Pardon?
He showed that when he came on, Tungi.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted him to start. Because when you're playing against the likes of Villa, especially when they've got tough players like Tyrone Mings, for example, you need these sorts of players. You need these players with this gifted footwork that they've got. And Højbjerg just does it again, like he did in the cup final. All he needed to do was shoot. But he just screwed it up. This one, he was trying to go for a corner instead of slotting it to Bergwijn. I think he was meant to slot it to. And he doesn't even get the corner out of this. But the reality is we lost this game because of a poor starting 11, Ryan Mason's long timing to make a substitution, and Reguilon's own goal of the season.
Yeah.
For both goals, he was at fault for that. Since his injury, Reguilon has gone downhill.
What is it about this team? Well, why can't we put two bloody passes together?
I honestly have got no clue. I don't know what... If it was Jose Mourinho, he would have said, we got to sort those two passes out. Try and do it, but probably do it the wrong way. Ryan Mason, look, I know he's a replacement manager, but I honestly can't believe I'm saying this, and I know it's been fewer games, and I told you this at the protest, but I genuinely preferred watching Tim Sherwood's football than Ryan Mason, because if Ryan Mason is going to congratulate the boys after what happened in the cup final, God knows what he's saying after this game, and God knows if he's even addressed this issue of passing that we did. Because all I saw him do, really, is just stand there with his arms crossed like that. Look, I got a white towel behind me. You know what happened? Through the towel. Pretty much that. Just like in a game of boxing. Through the towel. We just give up too easily.
But you know what? Ryan Mason ain't a manager. He should never be in that position in the first place.
He shouldn't even be here. Exactly. He shouldn't be here.
Yep.
Why would you sack Jose Mourinho? Which, it's subjected to opinion. I give you that. But why sack Jose Mourinho to go for Ryan Mason, especially before a cup final, and to try and get us to even try and finish in Europa League spot. It just makes no sense.
The thing is with Jose Mourinho, me personally, I wanted him gone. But you don't sack him, first of all, 6 days before a cup final, and you don't sack him without having a plan in place. That's the facts of the matter.
No, I'm with you on that one completely. The issue as well, like you've said before, just lies with the board and lies with Levy, because as I said firstly to this interview, they know how to sort finances out, but when it comes to running a football club, it's not there, and we're not about that. We want to see football. We want to see the same football that we saw in the 80s and the 90s, before I was born. So I can't even say I saw this sort of football. I've only seen 2 trophies in my lifetime, Warrington Cup, whatever it was called, and the League Cup. And are people, is it really acceptable for this? And like the geezer said before the interview, what are we actually doing as fans? If we want to change, then surely this is the right time to just get up from your asses and voice it. Voice it. Get into their heads that we're not happy about this, because that's why Levy feels absolutely relaxed. He's got somewhere to hide to, because he's not going to get confronted by mobs or by fans demanding change. So if we actually want to do something, instead of this attitude of, well, nothing's going to change, then just bloody do something about it.
Did you read his programme notes before the game, his message?
Don't even get me started with the programme, man. Honestly, it says enough as well, why Levy wanted Spurs to be in the Super League. Not a top 6 side, but because we somehow qualify for that Super League side could benefit us on a business side of things. But it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And my heart goes out to the people that honestly bought that programme. They could have spent it on so many more useful things in life, and they bought it on a programme filled with this rubbish mumbo-jumbo Levy propaganda.
Yeah, and he doesn't. He says things in the program like, what was that quote I read? He says, "As a club, we've been so focused on delivering the stadium and dealing with the impact of the pandemic that we have lost sight of some of the key priorities of what truly is in our DNA." And I'm like, he says all this stuff, all these platitudes, but he doesn't want to acknowledge what he actually did. What he doesn't go to any specifics in terms of what he's talking about. He just talks about in generalities because he wants to again hide and avoid what actually happened.
Well, like Si said earlier, that probably wasn't even him talking. That was probably the PR stuff talking. It's literally talking like a politician, really, not addressing the people. The people that you're meant to, well, not be accountable for, but you're meant to deliver something to the people, considering that we put the money into this club and we are the reasons why a football club exists. To just talk like that, it's just how politicians are treating people around the world, everywhere, pretty much. It's just all a load of bullshit that comes out of their mouth. And the truth is, they just genuinely do not care. I wouldn't even be shocked if Levy was able to sleep tonight, because honestly, if someone cared about what was going on, something would have been done. But instead, it's all these sorts of bullshit restrictions of, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. You look at Leicester, yeah? They're a club that thought they couldn't do this and that. They've been in League One before. They're not a bigger club than us, but they've won more than us in the 5 years. And this, in the last 5 years, it's their scouting that does it. It's their chairman that does it. The chairman's son that does it. What are we as a football club, honestly? It's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium FC.
All right, Sam. Absolute
Nice one,
pleasure
Sam.
of getting you on as always, and thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Sam.
All the best.
Cheers for
Speak to you
coming
later.
on. All right, we've got a lot more super chats coming through, and a lot more
really?
generous people. Brad Matthews says this team has never got over the Champions League final. They're shell shocked.
No.
They all need to go. This is the end. Beautiful team. The end. That's what Brad Matthews has to say. Thank you for the Hotspur reaction to becoming a member. Really appreciate all your support. Thank you. Welcome to Silver. Another super chat from Jason Fox. He says, we need a Leicester City type owner to come in. How do we get ENIC out our club? It's a great question. We're trying to build a movement, but it's hard to get a lot of people. Neil Wallace with a massive super chat. Thank you so much,
for that,
Neil.
man.
Wow, what an unbelievably generous super chat as well. He says boycott is better than a protest.
Yeah, the thing is though, you can't carry out a boycott in this day and age. It's impossible. How are you going to do that?
Well, yeah, because there's always going to be people to fill the seats.
Exactly, there's always going to be people to fill the seats.
And in fact, it's probably better for them if we boycott, because then they get other people and they'll spend more money.
There's a waiting list of triple what the stadium size is, first of all. And you've got people that come from America and South Korea and all these countries that are dying to go to Premier League football. South Koreans dying to see Heung-min Son week in, week out. These seats are going to go. Mm-hmm. And not only are these seats are going to go, these people are going to go spend £300-400 in the club shop.
Exactly what the club want.
These people are going to go spend £20 for their food, £20, £30 on drinks. You know what I mean? A boycott is never going to work in this day and age, unfortunately.
Rico says Mourinho is bigger than Tottenham. That is a fact.
Yeah.
No, well, come on.
Probably not wrong.
Nigel Gates says, you fan channel guys need to get together, come up with a plan with where you want the future of the club to be, and now you have the supporters' reputation on the representation on the board. Levy and board need to hear from inside. Yep, absolutely agree with that, Nigel. We need to have more of a voice with the board, that's for sure. We need to make sure they know how we feel. And at the moment, I feel like, yes, they've made some strides for fan representation, or perceived strides. We'll have to wait and see what's to come out from the Sports Trust from the meeting yesterday. We haven't heard from them, have we, about how that went? Have we?
Yeah, no, we haven't.
So we'll wait to hear what...
The only thing we heard is, we're going to have a presence at the game. That's all we heard.
That wasn't as of yesterday, though.
Well, they reiterated it last night, I think.
But they didn't give a note. They usually do their notes and everything.
Yeah, I don't think we heard anything from that.
So we have to wait and see what's to come from that.
I've got a comment here from the Hotspur Reaction, and he says, "Is there any way I can talk to you guys? I really want to give my reaction." Well, he is a member, or you are a member, so the link is in the community section if you want to come on and have your say. But let's get on and let's speak to Cody Mack. Cody.
Guys.
Hi, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm just as good as you guys are, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling to put some words out at the moment. I'm struggling to find words to sum up what I'm actually feeling. I just don't know where to go anymore as a fan of this football club. But Cody, sum up your feelings for me.
Well, I'll apologize in advance in case my stream is choppy because I'm on my cell phone right now, but I just want to ask you guys, I mean, I'm sure you've read the statement from Daniel Levy earlier today.
Yeah.
BB, stop that. What part of the performance on the pitch backs up anything that Daniel Levy had to say? You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. That's 2 out of the last 3 weeks that I've sat here and watched Grandpa come on and have absolutely nothing positive to say. And the first time around, that was apparently the first time that he had ever said that he had nothing positive to say. So I think that's pretty damning of the state of our club right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, completely
and
true.
And it feels like, what happened after the game as well. I don't know if you heard about it. It kind of sums up where we are as a club at the moment, kind of not caring about the fans, overcharging the fans, keeping the fans waiting for an hour after the game to get a little, like even a clap from the players takes over an hour, and it takes some disgruntled fans pretty much to kind of force them out. And that kind of just sums up where we are as a club at the moment. The fans kind of be taken for granted. We're being served up shit from a football point of view, and that's where we're headed at the moment.
£60 fucking pounds to make them wait outside for an hour for any sort of appreciation. Fucking do me a favor.
But Daniel Levy is concerned about the well-being of the fans. He's concerned about the fans who have had to endure hardships over the pandemic. You know what I mean? He's concerned about the staff that he attempted to furlough. He's concerned about the results on the football pitch that he's done nothing to affect in a positive manner. Is that any way to treat a generational talent that is on his way out of the club, right? The performance on the pitch today, and then the lack of a proper goodbye. I mean, I will never forgive the people that are in charge of this club for the way that we just had to say goodbye to Harry Kane, because I don't know if anybody can make an argument that I would buy into that he's not gone already. It's just, this is in a season where we have achieved new, unprecedented, maybe not unprecedented, but in modern times, unprecedented lows as a fan base. This is as low as it ever will get right now. I would certainly hope, but every time that I think that we've gone as low as we can possibly go, I wake up the next morning and there's messages waiting for me telling me how we've fallen even further. You know what I mean? It's just the disappointment runs so deep, and it's so disappointing. Just even like watching that game, and the 84th minute, and Japhet Tanganga is lying on the pitch, incapacitated because of a serious leg injury, with his hands covering his face, and the cameras pan into the crowd, and there's a supporter in the stands, completely oblivious not only to what's going on the pitch, but what's going on to the club in general, chanting when the Saints go marching in. I apologize in advance for being critical of this guy, because, you know, like in the grand scheme of things, is he doing anything, like, is he hurting anybody? No, but like, that guy is emblematic of what is wrong with Tottenham Hotspur right now, is that we are willing to sit here and eat the shit that we are fed. And as long as that stance does not change on a grand scale as a bigger part of the pie chart than the part that is satisfied, this is what we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with complacency. We're going to deal with the acceptance of not winning trophies. We're going to deal with the reality that we aren't a Champions League squad. All that this ownership and this board care is that the money continues to flow. So for anybody that's out there right now that's upset that we're not going to finish in Champions League or Europa, you need to look yourself in the mirror and decide whether or not you want money that you have worked hard to earn. You have to decide whether that money is going to end up in the pockets of the owners of this club, because that is the language that they speak. And if we aren't willing on a personal level to make those kinds of sacrifices, if we aren't as a club willing to forgo buying from the club shop, if we aren't as a club willing to, maybe you but maybe you do not buy from the concessions, if we as a club are not willing to speak out on social media, if we as a club are not willing to show up in person if we have the opportunity, then all we are doing is perpetuating the direction that this club is being taken in right now. And that is one that results in us not progressing towards what we want as fans. That is one that we're risking going down the same road that Sunderland and Leeds and Villa and Newcastle and all of these clubs that have fallen before us. We are not too big to fail. That is what I will say to the fans that think that the board is not the problem. You think we're too big to fail? We are not too big to fail. Right? You need to readjust your expectations, and I'm trying really hard not to like use derogatory language and be colorful in how I'm describing it, but this is an important period of time as a supporter of Tottenham Hotspur. If you're serious about what you want for this club, now is the time to take action. Right? Now is the time. And you cannot let the fact that the last weekend's protest wasn't the way that you imagined it stand in the way of what needs to be done. It is going to be absolute hard work to achieve the goals that we need to achieve, the change that needs to be done. So unless you're buckled in and settled in for the long haul, well, I don't know what to tell you at this point, you know, because
Cody, how do we bring change about? Because the protests, they don't seem to be working. They seem to be getting worse. Since the one on Saturday, 50 people showed up on the Sunday with no sort of demonstration whatsoever. The Supporters Trust with 24,000 members were supposed to be having a presence outside the stadium today. That didn't seem to take any effect or happen in any sort of serious numbers. People are talking about a boycott me personally, I don't see how that's going to work with all the kind of day trippers that you can see coming into the game and anyone that's willing to snap up a ticket at any sort of given moment. So tell me, how are we supposed to bring about change?
I think at this point right now, with all the things that you just described, the way that we think as Tottenham Hotspur fans is we're in a fragile state. So at this point, it's about not giving up, right? It's about continuing to have the necessary difficult discussions. It's about continuing to try and welcome as many people into our way of thinking as we can. It's about not ostracizing people that disagree with us. It's about attacking this intelligently and coming up with unique solutions to the problem that we face. There's no easy answer to the way that this is going to go down. It's not going to happen overnight. The death of this ownership, the death of this board, is going to be the death of 1,000 cuts. It is never, ever going to be the fall of the guillotine, right? There is no quick solution to what goes on right now. Even if it comes down to a single person standing on a soapbox spouting crazy-ass rhetoric about this board, as long as we don't let the embers burn out, there is hope for what we want for this football club. So as much as there is so much reason to be discouraged and to think that there is no hope, this is the time now where we need to be as strong as ever and just continue on with as whatever messages that we can send. The reality is, if you aren't committed to the change, if you aren't outraged about what's going on, right, then you just have to commit. You just have to commit. And in the end, I think we will be proven right. But it's just such a tough time. I mean, it's so hard to balance my love and hate for this club because in reality, both emotions are so very strong in my soul for this club right now. I love this club to the bone, and I hate this club to the bone right now. And it's about channeling those emotions and directing them appropriately and understanding the language that needs to be used to best grow the movement that needs to be used against this board. And you just can't give up. I think we're at the point right now where that has to be the message to the people out there who feel like giving up is acceptable. You cannot give up. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and if the first step is a step backwards, like how you could possibly characterize what's gone on here in the last 7 days, then so be it. But we have to continue to move forward. We have to soldier on. If you really believe that we are right and they are wrong, then it really doesn't matter how many people agree with us. If you're right in the end, then you will be proven. You will be proven right in the end.
That is wise words, Cody. It really is. But just before you go, I want to read out this super chat from Joseph THFC81. And he says, I plead with fans, if you are going to renew your season tickets, start walking out of the stadium, especially during live matches. Keep up the movement. Get these rats out our club. Hashtag Levy. Hashtag Enoch out. What'd you say to that?
Yeah, I would agree. I think as much as it's tempting if you're a season ticket holder to not renew, we need just as many people on the inside of the stadium as we need outside of it. You know, every season ticket holder that's upset with the way the club is being run, if they give up their ticket now, for one, they're probably never getting it back. And second, they're probably giving up their ticket to somebody who doesn't share their views. So if you're a season ticket holder, I fully condone renewing your season ticket. And I think that it's important for you to be inside the stadium, voicing your concern. If you're in shouting distance of Daniel Levy, you need to be letting him hear it the entire time that you are in that stadium. You have to make it untenable for him to sit down and enjoy a Tottenham Hotspur football match, right?
West Ham just scored, Cody.
I know you guys have lots of people to go, so I'll let you go. But I do want to lighten up the mood a little bit. Brian Daigle was on the show earlier, and Brian Daigle has an interview for a job tomorrow, and I wish him the best of luck. But I could not help but picture Brian Daigle sitting down for the interview in a professional manner and explaining himself in a calm way, and then just like a regular sitcom, you fast forward 10 minutes and whoever's interviewing him has said something along the lines of Levy, right? A word that rhymes with Levy. And there's Brian Daigle in an interview just shouting in the interviewer's face. And this is why Daniel Levy has to leave Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, So I just think that's,
Cody, you
that's
could
a little
just
bit
imagine,
funny, but
you could just imagine him sitting in the interview and then they go, "Oh, so what are your pastimes and passions?" And
10 minutes later, let me tell you about a guy I know. But best of luck to Brian. And again, I mean, it's being shown in the super chats and the people who are being so generous to you guys. You provide a necessary outlet for people to come on here and express themselves. It's good for people's mental health, especially in these times that we find challenging. God bless you guys for running We Are Tottenham TV, and big up to both of you. Come on, you Spurs. Enoch out.
Come on, you Spurs. Enoch out. Not so much glory though.
So if you missed that while Cody was talking, West Ham have gone 2-1 up against West Brom with 7 minutes remaining.
Who scored?
Which now means Ogbonna scored, which now means we will not be playing Europa League football unless West Ham lose against Southampton and we win.
I just want to say, Hotspur Reaction keeps messaging on the live chat saying, could you send me the link, please? Can you send me the link, please? The link is in the community section. So if you want...
I think he's silver, maybe that's why.
No, I sent out to silver and gold.
So, yeah, you should see it then.
Yeah. We've got a super chat here from Richard Wise saying, to hit Enoch's pockets is there just a way to boycott, protest, put pressure on... Just says John Lewis Investments, aka Tavistock Group. Call out their members as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Dave on. David, Irish Hotspur. How you doing, mate? First of all.
Yeah, not too good, lad. Not too good whatsoever. You can see there's no smile on my face today.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before the game, and you and Brian were, quite negative coming to the game, and I was trying to bring up the positive vibes, but. Ultimately, both of you were absolutely spot on with what you were saying, and the game played out like that, didn't it?
Look, I called it before. You start Harry Winks, you get overrun, and we don't turn ball over. The game panned out exactly like that. How many times did you just break on us with no one turning ball over, no one getting in there? Every time they broke on us, they looked like they were going to score. To be honest with you, just if there's any young ones watching, plug your ears right now, because them players out there. They're representing every one of us fans' dreams out there. And if they're not willing, if they're not man enough to get out there and do it, then get the fuck out of my club and take that jersey off. I've had enough. I've had enough of this shit we're being served up. And you still have idiots paying £60 to go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, and it sounds like they're being treated as well. The fans who did pay £60, all they wanted was a clap from the players after the game to show appreciation for the season, and they couldn't even get that right. They couldn't even get that right at the end of the game. I mean, did you hear about what happened?
Oh, I heard about it. Yeah. The players probably in there sulking because they got booed off at halftime and full time. That's probably why. Boo fucking who? Get your ass out there and respect them supporters who've had to put up with your shit all season long. All your bottling games for the last 6-7 years with some of these players. Get out there and man up and front it. Front it like men. At least show some sort of dignity. At least shows you have some sort of respect. At least shows that you have some sort of pride left in the fucking badge. But no, they couldn't even come out and do that. That is the problem with the mentality around this club. There's no men. There's no one that wants to hold their hands up, and there's no one that wants to front anything. I'm sick of it. These players are weak-minded bottle jobs. I'm fed up with it. I don't care anyone that says it's harsh. I couldn't give a shit right now. At the end of the day, we've been served this shit now for 2 seasons. Actually, 2.5 seasons, even when Pochettino got sacked. And I've had enough. I'm fed up. I'm fed up of seeing these players not dying, sweating, or bleeding for this badge like every single one of us fans would love to do. I'm fed up with it. They need to remember they're representing Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and the fans of it. They need to remember this.
Dave, we've spoken a lot between me and you and between the fan channels and just on Twitter and general stuff, how us as a fan base, we need to put our foots down. What we've done so far with the petty protests that we have done, they seem to be getting worse and worse. From Saturday, there was an all right turnout, 300 people, whatever. The next day, 50 people, no sort of protest whatsoever. Today, with the Supporters Trust, 24,000 members, by the way, and they couldn't seem to get anything going today. So, I mean, where do we go from here as a fan base, and how do we actually put a stop to this?
Well, look, I was actually thinking about this throughout the course of this show, and what I've come up with is we start social media campaigns, we start campaigns on YouTube, we start putting out videos. Not little 10, 20-second videos. You start putting out 4 or 5 minute videos of people coming on saying, explaining how much they love the club and the problem with Levy and Enoch and why they want them out or why they want reform. And we start putting them all over Twitter, all over YouTube.
Yeah. And just as you speak,
and I'm talking like bombard it because, lads, Once the likes of the Sky Sports and everything else start picking up of this and see the sheer volume of it, then it starts going into the mainstream media. And that's when people will probably really step up and take note. I mean, hopefully we might wake some of these people sleepwalking at the wheel.
Yeah, and just as you're speaking, by the way, West Ham have now gone 3-1 up. So they're getting all 3 points. And it looks like that is that in terms of that game. And now Spurs are pretty much staring no Europa League football right in the face now next season. It's all West Ham need is a draw now, and they'll be playing Europa League football next season. So just give you that update. But yeah, David, I completely agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think a lot of the fans are sleepwalking at the moment and thinking that all of this can be turned around very quickly. Where in fact, if we do lose someone like Harry Kane, you can't recruit what he brings to the club. So people thinking that we can just spend the money on improving the squad and everything will be fine is fanciful thinking.
But we're not just losing Harry Kane. Harry Kane goes, Son's going. Hugo Lloris is going. He's a year left on his contract. And when that happens, then you're also looking at the manager situation. What manager is going to look at Tottenham and say, well, I've no Kane, I don't know what Son's future is, and I don't know whether Lloris is going to be sold or not this summer because he only has a year left on his contract. What manager, word or sort, is going to come in here? There's no finances, no director of football that can help him bring in players. What manager is going to want to come in here? It's a lot bigger than just Harry Kane even. I love Harry, you know what I mean? And I don't want him to go. I really don't. I want Levy just to say, look, you're going nowhere. You have 3 years left on your contract. That's what I'd love to happen. It gives us a year to try and sort things out. Maybe have a good stab at something next year, and maybe change Kane's thoughts. But right now, lads, I'm not messing. I'm hurt. I'm heartbroken. I'm distraught, and I'm devastated. This club is in the mire. We are in the pits right now. We are in the pits. And if we don't wake up and start getting pressure on this board for reform and change right now, honestly, next season is going to be even longer, even tougher. And you might even see me shed a few tears, and I never cry. But honestly, Tottenham is my first love. Fuck my missus. I couldn't give a shit right now. She's happy. Tottenham is my priority right now. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's in the pits. We need to wake up. To be honest with you, I would love all of us YouTubers to get together, have a call, and put our ideas together and see what we can do and make a real stab at this, because honestly, I can't tolerate this no more. I cannot tolerate what's going on in the pitch no more. It's not Tottenham. It's not even football.
It stinks. That's what it is. It stinks. But David, look, pure passion, pure facts. I just want to say thank you for coming on and thank you for the great show again this before the game, pre-match pump up.
Yeah, no worries, lads. Look, I'll try my best. Hopefully it was a good show and that, hopefully people have been enjoying them. And look, I'll still be back there doing the next one for the last game. Don't worry, I'm going to ride that train all the way home. But right now, this club is killing me. It's hurting. And we need change. We need change now. And we need to mobilise. We are a disaster on the pitch. We're a disaster off the pitch. And it's up to us fans now. This club is in our hands, and it's up to us to get our Tottenham back, to get it run the way we want to be run, and to be paying tickets for players that are actually willing to die for the cause and that actually want to get 3 points.
Absolutely spot on. Thanks a lot, David. We'll see you next time, mate.
I'll see you, lads.
See you soon.
So who is next? See you, Will.
Will Stewart.
How's it going, Will?
You look bluer than I do.
Sorry, I think you're on mute there for a second.
You guys look bluer than I do.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to find the words to put to my feelings. I'm struggling to see where there's any sort of light at the end of the tunnel. And not just light at the end of the tunnel for this football club, but light at the end of the tunnel for our protest, as a fan base. I mean, I'm just completely lost at the moment. But, sum up your feelings for me, Will.
I'm speechless because I'm not there. There's nothing I can do physically. All I can do is use my voice and my tiny little channel that I have. And it frustrates me because it seems like no matter what happens at the club, there is still a surprisingly large group of people who want to make excuses for Daniel Levy, want to make excuses for Ryan Mason, want to make excuses for the players. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. What are they watching? I mean, can you guys tell me what are they looking at? What are they seeing that I'm not seeing?
I mean, I can slightly see why they're sticking up for Ryan Mason, because it's completely the board's fault why we're in this mess in terms of why there's a 29-year-old managing the football club that's never managed a game of football in his life, that doesn't even have the required coaching badges to be in the role he's in. So I can see why they're kind of glossing over that, because it's completely down to the board why he's in that role. So it's hard to criticize him that much. Yes, you could criticize him for the decisions he makes, but ultimately he's not qualified to make the right decisions. Let's get that one straight.
Oh, I agree. But I mean, that's the thing, is he put himself in that position though. He should have said, "No, guys,
he accepted a dream role. Yeah. He accepted a dream role, but ultimately we had no plan in place. We had no one else to turn to. It was either him or Chris Powell. You know what I mean?
I think Chris Powell probably turned it down.
Yeah,
I'd bet they asked him first, and he said, "I don't want to even touch this mess."
maybe you might be right. But in terms of the fans backing up the board and backing up Daniel Levy right now, I mean, I'm at a loss for words for it. I can't see a way how, why, who is backing this man and this board up. I just don't get it. I'm with you on that one completely.
No, I mean, after that statement today, it just happened while Cody and Brian were on the channel doing a live show. I clipped it and put it up, and it went like semi-viral for a small channel. I mean, but there was the comments that were in there were like, Daniel Levy's great for the club. Like, it was like almost 50-50, and I don't get why there's such a divide there. I don't understand what they're seeing. Right? Like, yes, I understand if you're looking at it from, say, 2001 to 2015, 16, 17, you could definitely say that there was an improvement in the club. But what have you not been looking at the last 3-4 years? Since we left White Hart Lane? Since we've been left White Hart Lane, it has been a struggle. We got lucky in the championship or in the Champions League run. Right? The last half of that season was relegation for in the league. Relegation for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what, three windows with not a single signing. I don't. And now here we are, and we literally could finish in 10th or 9th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
I know, and people kind of gloss over that because of what a good job financially Levy's done and bringing the new stadium, but the goings on after the game today is a symptom of where we're at as a club, in terms of the players don't seem to care about the fans, the club, the communication seems down the toilet, and whenever they release a club statement like they did today, like an open letter, there's nothing personal about it. It's always very corporate messaging. It's always very clearly written by someone else. There was absolutely zero acknowledgement for all the bad things they've done. For example, there was absolutely no mention of the Super League. There was no mention of fan protests or anything. There was just no mention of why the fans are upset or what the problems are. It was always just, we have lost sight of a few things and we're looking to get back on track. It's like, can't you just for 1 second be a real human being?
Well, no, but I mean, according to Ryan Mason, there is no separation between the club and the fans. all of us upset people are just a small voice that don't represent the Tottenham fan base. And you know, why should we be upset? We have an academy graduate in the dugout.
Yeah, loads of things to shout about, loads of things to be happy about. I mean, this club is rotten. It's completely rotten from top to bottom.
Look, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but there's videos from other creators, you know, in our little group or whatever, that are there outside, and people are walking out of the stadium happy, smiles on their faces, laughing with each other, walking down the street, out on the sidewalk. Right? There's nobody standing around waiting, nobody angry, you know, nobody doing anything. Yeah, booze in the stadium. Angry, that was great. Levy out chance. Great. But at the end of the day, it's just go home, you know?
Yeah.
Wait till next season. That's what I've heard a lot. Let's just wait till the summer transfer window, you know, and see what happens then. Like he's going to do anything. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong as well. But look, I think you're talking complete sense, and I think there's only one way this transfer window is going to go, and unfortunately, it's not the way we want it to go, and we know that.
Yeah, look,
for words, man.
If we finish before Arsenal, we finish below Arsenal, I may lose. Like I like to think of myself as a pretty calm and level-headed guy. I try not to use curse words unless I'm really upset. But if we lose next week and they win next week, I will absolutely lose my mind.
Well, our only hope at this point is probably Arsenal not beating Brighton, because we're not going to beat Leicester.
But that's the crazy thing about our club, right? Now that because there's nothing on the table anymore,
yeah,
we're going to go out there and we're going to slot them 4-1 or something. I mean, that's the way it's been all season. Anytime there was a hope of anything, we flush it down the toilet.
Problem is, it's a massive game for Leicester this weekend. It's massive.
Yeah, because they got to win to stay in the top 4.
Yep, exactly. I don't know, Will. I don't know.
I don't know either, guys.
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Levy needs to get out of the club. He needs to resign. Look, do we need to have Enoch sell the club? That would be great, right? You know, that's a dream of mine. Have them sell the club to somebody who actually cares. But just resign. Just resign. Just resign from the management of the club. Just say, I'm done. I'll stick here. I'll be an owner. I'll advise people on the financial operations, property, you know, stuff like that. Just get out of the footballing side of it. You don't know what you're doing.
Over the footballing side, he has to.
He has no idea what he's doing. It almost looks like he's the one picking the team sheet. I'm seriously. That's Cody Mack level 1 conspiracy. I think Daniel Levy's picking the team sheet.
Yeah, well.
I mean, because why? How else would you? I mean, seriously, how could things go? We have, unless Ryan Mason lived in a box.
Who?
I mean, unless Ryan Mason lived in a box for the first half of the season, why is Winks?
Makes no sense, Will. Makes no sense, man. I'm at a lost ends with this fucking football club. Sorry for my French, but look, we got some more people in the back end, so we got to keep going. But Will,
get them on.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm gonna go polish my moon boots. I'll see you guys later.
Nice one.
See you later, Will.
All right, stay strong, stay Spurs, fellas.
Yeah, you too.
Super chat here from Tommy Palmer says the defense 20 yards from midfield, half attackers press. Mason not inexperienced but just rubbish. I'm losing love from the team. I love most 20 years. I feel you, Tommy.
Yeah, I feel you.
Let's get Jory on.
Let's get the Jorico on,
because I want us to say something to Jory. Get him on.
Jory, can I tell you, this is the only thing I'm going to be lifting this year. This is the only thing I'm going to be lifting this year. The only thing.
I absolutely love it. So I love it.
So
I think it's really cool.
Can you put my camera on for a second? Because if you guys don't know what this is sent from Jory to us. It came today, yesterday?
Today, I think.
It came today. It is, what is it? It's a piece of lava from the volcano by Jory in Iceland. I mean, absolutely unbelievable.
We need to carve it into a Spurs logo or something.
Maybe we'll give it to Richard Blackdog and he can carve it into a cockerel.
Maybe, but look, Jory, it's the first time anyone's ever sent us lava before, so it's the first. I appreciate
it. Thank you very much.
So, guys, just so you know, it's a piece of lava that originated from the core of the Earth, guys. So
from the core of the Earth.
7 kilometers is the origin of that piece of rock there, and it's maybe, what is it? It's probably like 6 weeks old.
That's mad.
That's it.
So be careful not to cut yourself. It's a sharp little thing.
I told him be delicate. But look, thank you, Jory. I really appreciate that gift, and I wish the board could be as generous and as caring as you are, because at the moment we seem to be all over the place as a football club. And now with West Ham winning 3-1 today, Europa League is even an outside shot at this point. So what's your assessment at the moment of where we are?
Yeah, well, I can completely understand how everybody's feeling tonight, but we really need to kind of, I mean, football is an emotional game for sure, but we are now really in a situation where we need to at least, kind of, I wouldn't want to call a certain group real fans and not real fans, but maybe the fans that are more kind of thinking of the club as a whole rather than just as a piece of entertainment maybe. We have to realize that the project is much more than, getting results this season or like making a good signing. I mean, I hope we get a good new manager. I don't really see it happening, to be honest. But of course, I want all that in a way. But also, I want Levy and the board to be stuck with the consequences of their actions. I don't want them to get away with it again. And that really means that we need to go to the doldrums kind of result-wise, which is not something I want at all. But, we have this big fat parasite stuck to our club. And we have to face the fact it's going to hurt to get this ugly thing off us, and we won't get it off until they've sucked us dry, basically.
But Jory, how much lower can we go? We're already facing no European football whatsoever this next season.
We can go a lot lower, Ben, as Arsenal is showing us. As it can get.
Well, Arsenal might finish above us this season.
Yeah, I know, but if you look at where they were and what they've been through, the culture and the feeling around the club, it's even more toxic than our situation, I think. They might have a little bit of a glimmer of hope now, but still they have kind of the exact same problem and not a better owner than us for sure. So I just think in general, I mean, and like Tottenham has this problem, I think, because Tottenham is a really weird phenomenon. I know this because I'm an international fan, so Tottenham is a very big brand as a football brand. Like, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of international fans of Tottenham, and that's despite all the lack of success, really. And that's maybe where we made the biggest mistakes. Even us three, we kind of thought, let's give Mourinho a chance because we need to change the culture. But we maybe overlooked the fact that the reason Tottenham is a big club without really having the big results is because of the way we've played football, the culture, the flamboyant. Like, Tottenham is the favorite of all the pundits. They always want to speculate and talk about Tottenham because it's an exciting, there's an exciting football culture that's connected to Tottenham. So, when I was a kid, it was Adiles and Glenn Hoddle and all these really, really flashy kind of football. Like, they were really shiny individuals and did amazing things and were allowed and expected to do amazing things. So I think Tottenham suffers from like now you're wondering how come the protests are going so badly at Tottenham and stuff. I think that's because Tottenham is not that tribal. The bigger fan base of Tottenham, at least how I experience it out in my country and also in Denmark and stuff, is that it's not as tribal as many other clubs. I feel like there are much more casual fans that kind of approach Tottenham, have Tottenham as their club when they're kind of into watching a bit of football and stuff like that. I don't know how it is in London. I know when I've been in London, I've noticed sometimes that the Tottenham fans seems often to be better behaved than other fans, maybe. Like being fairly more normal, I would say. I wouldn't say anything else than that. Whereas I think clubs, for example, Manchester also has a very big casual fan base, but they have such a strong working class ethic as well, and such a strong base in that city, so they can really, gather the troops for a big reaction. In terms of what we can do, or not so much me, but more you guys in London, is we need, I think the only way you're going to be really successful is with really clever stuff inside the stadium. So we need songs. I would personally very much love for guys like you and the Trust and stuff like that to connect to the other fan bases and maybe make an agreement like I talked about before, like the other, let's say you're going to Manchester United, they have a song about the Glaciers. You will join in, you will learn that song and you'll join in that singing, and that I'll be damned if Sky is going to ignore the whole stadium singing the same song. That's never been done. That's one stunt that the core fans could maybe try and pull off.
I'll tell you, the only time that's ever been done is when Arsenal and Chelsea played each other and they sang "Stand Up If You Hate Tottenham."
Oh my God! Of course, that would be it. Yeah, but that was a powerful thing. I can imagine. It says a lot about us as well. It's kind of flattering that they would go to such length to do that. But
well, apparently at the end of the game today, there was a lot of boos, and apparently the Spurs turned up the PA system to drown out the boos.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what someone said.
I saw some stuff on Twitter and stuff, and yeah, and they escorted a lot of people out of the stadium, and like I also you saw, of course, Kane clapping the fans there alone on the pitch,
with a tear
also
in his
kind
eye.
of. Yeah, and that we know now. We don't need to speculate anymore, right? So, and for me, that also kind of, because I felt like almost like it wasn't popular either in the stadium, and it wasn't like the broadcasters wasn't. I felt like they were kind of trying not to kind of make it more dramatic. Like this is one of those moments that they would really pump for everything it's worth, and I felt like it was kind of being played down almost. So I think Kane is there in the stands with us. I think he's sick of this board, to be honest. And I think Son is going. I think Son is crazy if it doesn't go now. I think it's all but I say that, and then Levy is such a sly guy, and he could, if anybody can kind of pull it together at the last moment, it's Levy. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I want results. I want us to play good teams. I want the football, but I don't want this big fat parasite on my club anymore. And I know the only way they're going to go is by losing money. And losing money, now I kind of feel like if we don't get a Europa football, he'll get no extra income from that. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. I wanted the games. I wanted Champions League games. I wanted Europa games for me to watch, but I don't want Levy to have any money. I want, to be honest, I know that Levy will only get realistic about selling the club once he's losing enough money, you know. And this is the situation all these clubs are in, you know, where we're just a speculation toy basically for investors. And like many of these casual fans and you know, kind of normal people, middle class people maybe, they dislike protest in general, you know, and they don't want to associate with that kind of culture and think smart businessmen are something to look up to, you know, and so they think that the fact that they've built this massive brand, which they have, and I've said it before, Levy is brilliant at the retail side of things, and ENIC, and they've done a great job there. And like you guys know it better than anybody, how they try to skin you for every penny you have, you know. So they're really doing a good job in that sense. But the football side of running a club, they are clueless, and they have been so lucky with the players, the geniuses that have come through our ranks. And you know, the Champions League final was kind of a mixed blessing, you know, because it kind of made things look in a way that's not true, really. It made it look like we were better and in better shape than we really were at the time. So you know, yeah, I don't know. I wish it would just be the football, but I really can't see how the real fans among us can really have anything other than this as the main focus of our love of Tottenham, you know. I don't know. I mean, what's your, like today, have you heard from your friends at the stadium and stuff like that? Did you? No. So
I haven't heard anyone. I haven't heard from anyone that was there. The only thing I've seen is the videos on kind of social media and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I saw that a lot of people were singing Levy out, and you know, protest chants and boos at the end, and you know, the club made the fans wait for an hour after the game for the players to come back out after sending them home. I mean, the whole thing is a complete shit show at the moment, and the club is rotten, literally rotten from top to bottom, including the fan base, because the fan base, are, you know, we're a toxic fan base at the moment. You know, half the fans want ENIC to stay, half the fans want ENIC to go. I don't understand the fans that want ENIC to stay, but at the end of the day, you've still got to respect all fans' opinions, don't you?
Of course, but this is what I think about. This is the difference between people like yourself that follow everything and are completely connected and basically are the fabric of the club, in my opinion, and then people on the fringes who just use it as a mean of entertainment, you know, and associate with Tottenham in that kind of sense, you know, and they'll probably feel that they have as much of a say in it, and they do in principle do that, but the truth is, what kind of makes the club is the fans like yourself, and is of course the core that's in the stadium. And that's what I tried to tell you with the Super League. It's like, you know, for me, if they had gone ahead with the Super League and the core would rally around making new Tottenham FC, I would be a new Tottenham FC fan, you know. I would say the history of Tottenham is now transferred over to here, even though it would be a terrible mess and you never wanted to see something like that. But I would say the history belongs to you guys. Like I mean like Ben and Sim. This is your history. It's not Levy's. It's not the address on the road. It's not White Hart Lane or any. It's this, and it doesn't belong to the guy that kind of drops in and out and likes Tottenham, but buys.
They're custodians at the end of the day. They're just custodians.
Yeah. And I think like for you guys, like my advice to you guys, because I would feel a lot worse if I was living in London and had to have the prospect of going to the games. But I would advise you guys just to settle in, because it's gonna be a long ways to try and find a way also to have fun with it. Make good songs. Find a point in the game where you turn your back. As we're turning your back to the board. And just go be creative with it. And make it something that we actually can fuel us on, and then we can still watch the games, we can still support our players, but at the same time we're never letting up on our ENIC out demand, So
it's a nice idea, that turning the back, and I think that we should turn our back on the 2nd minute for the 2 trophies we've won under ENIC, and we should turn our back on the 20th minute for the 20 years of ENIC. I mean, that's what maybe that we can do.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, and I think like guys like yourself, you need to do a lot of networking and hook up with your, like the guys that you do the what do you call it, the other perspective when you talk to the other fan, when you bring them on and all that, so just we should look at it as a exciting opportunity also to really get the grassroots reinvigorated and involved again, because there's something to sink your teeth into here, at least, So,
Jory, before we let you go, I've got a comment here from Wise05, and he says, "Does Jory ever pause to breathe?"
I breathe with my ears, guys. That's how we do it in Iceland.
And there's another one here from Michael David Sekeli. It's actually super chat. It says, first of all, he says, "Did I actually read that Levy is entertaining bringing Ragnick in as director of football, or was I dreaming?" And then he goes on to say, "Jory, I'm visiting Iceland this summer."
Okay, well,
hook him up.
Yeah, well, I'm in Reykjavik. You can send me a message on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, so you can send me a YouTube message, and I can tell you there's a big Tottenham contingent here that gets together in one of the pubs here for most games.
Sounds like we should come over to Iceland. That
would
be a great trip. I'd love to come to Iceland.
Yeah, but the big plan is for me and Jonas to get over and see a game, actually.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure that we'll be in touch then.
Looking forward to it, Jory.
Yeah, but you do a great job, guys, and like I said, try and settle in, and because we're gonna get burnt out if we only take it. We need to make this standing against ENIC needs to become fun now, because we need to do this probably for a couple of years at least, So
completely agree.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, Jory,
Yeah.
absolute pleasure as always, and once again, thank you for the lava.
Yes.
Really, I really appreciate it.
My trophy to you guys for your work, man.
Thank you so
Jory.
much.
Take care.
See you.
ya.
Bye.
All right, let's keep going. I believe we've got 2 more guests. Is that right? One more. Last guest of the day. Who have we got? The Bun, Danny
The
Kiriakou.
Bun.
How you doing, Danny?
Yeah, not great, mate. To be honest, I mean, I couldn't have been given a worse birthday present from these
Happy
pathetic bunch
birthday,
of-
by the way,
happy
Danny.
birthday,
happy
man.
birthday.
I'm sorry about
cheers, lads.
I mean, Danny, did you make it to the stadium today? For any of the pro, did you manage to get there?
No, I was at the game. I was.
Oh, you were at the game.
Tell us about it.
I was at the game. Yeah, it was. I mean, I was given a birthday present from someone for a ticket, basically, and I actually didn't want to go, but I didn't want to say, "Oh no, I don't really want it." So
yeah, fair.
I went, and then after that, I thought, well, look, I might as well go see Harry Kane's last game and see if he does anything. And I mean, I got to see one shot from Harry Kane in his last game. So I mean, great viewings, really, from my point of view.
But you saw a Steven Bergwijn goal live in the flesh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, he's level on goals with Alisson now, so it's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable, lads.
What a player!
So,
what a player!
Yeah, what a player. I mean, what a player. Yeah.
What a team.
I mean, I'd rather have Tyrone Mings up front. I mean, he scored more goals than Bergwijn. So this season. But yeah.
What Danny, what was the feeling like within the stadium? Because, from our perspective, we heard a lot of chants, like a lot of Spurs chants, and, a few like ENIC out, Levy out chants and all that kind of stuff. But from actually being inside, what was it actually like?
At the beginning of the match, I think it was more of a sense. The feeling I got was people were happy to be there because they've kind of been
been deprived of their football and their team for so long,
Which
and
is
it was a bit
understandable.
like people were happy to be there. People were chatting to their mates, and it was a kind of good feel because people were like, oh, we finally be able to see our team play again, and obviously coming out of lockdown, etc., etc. But I didn't get the feel once until we conceded that second goal, where people started getting a bit annoyed, and then the Levy chant started coming out a bit. And I was like, there was no one, absolutely no one chanting anything about Levy or Enoch out or anything like that until we started losing. And I wanted it from the beginning, really. I didn't want us to look like the only Muppet there doing it, because I'd look like an absolute fool. Because from what the feeling I got is people were happy with what was going on. I mean, honestly, when it started happening with Levy chants, I heard a few people in the distance saying support the club, and other people arguing, like saying, well, this is why we're going to watch this bunch of shit. I mean, these players, honestly, like, and there was arguments between some Spurs fans because people were saying Enoch out, Levy's a C word, and all this kind of stuff, and yeah,
sounds very toxic.
It was. It's like you could feel the division. Like, I think I was in the South Stand, right? So when the Levy chants started at every year, I was involved because I always wanted to say it, because I don't agree with how they're running the club at the moment. You guys know my stance.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was one of those things where it's kind of felt like, again, Ben, how you're just let down by the fan base. Like, what do people see? Honestly, I think I don't know how the fans are blind to what's going on in this club, because what I saw today was a bunch of players who have got no idea, no unity, no passion for the badge, right? And the one player who did at the end of the game, he was doing a lap of honor by himself. Yep. Literally, it took about 5 minutes before before Son and Bale decided to join in, and they were in the other side of the pitch by the time he was on the other side. And then Dele Alli was just walking in the middle, like it was it was just disappointed with the game, and that was it. It was nothing to it. And it's just what I'm so upset about is the fact that we've come to a point where these players don't. Loads of these players, so many of them, we know who they are. They just don't care. And also the managerial decisions for the starting 11. For me, I agree with what Will said, and I think what Cody was saying about how it just seemed like a Daniel Levy decision. Why would you play Winks? Why? He's the most fucking shit player I've ever seen play for Spurs. And this is how I felt tonight. Every single time he got the ball, he lost the ball. He tried to play a forward pass. He kept giving it away. It was too short. He couldn't make a 10-yard pass. It was ridiculous. And
he wasn't the only one, though.
He wasn't the only one, right? But he was one of the ones who you don't put in that team. Like, we all know, every single fan this season has seen the quality of Harry Winks and how he's just plateaued over the years. And then he plateaued, and then he's just gone downhill even worse. And it's just, I don't understand what you can see. The only logical explanation I can see why you'd pick Harry Winks in that team is to try and put him in that shop window a little bit. I know it sounds like a bit of like a conspiracy theory, but why else? And also, probably apart from the fact that he's mates with Ryan Mason, and he probably sees a little bit of himself in Winks. So I can't see any other way. And again, Dyer, I mean, he nearly cost us again, and it's like he's putting us in positions where we shouldn't be in. I know he didn't have the worst game out of the players that were there. Reguilon had by far the worst game. I mean, essentially Tottenham scored 3 goals today. I mean, Reguilon
and Puskas own goal of the season.
Yeah. Oh, that was unbelievable. We saw it was like a fucking unbelievable volley, and you're like, what's going on? Like, mate, honestly, it was just.
Let me ask you, what happened? Did you stay after the game?
I stayed up until Kane left the pitch, because I stayed. Well, so basically, I went for some drinks with some friends afterwards, who I went to the game to meet up with, and I didn't want to stay to watch anything else. I just wanted to see what Kane's reaction was, to see what happened. And for me, like Jory said before, it spoke for itself. What Kane just walking around. He came to the South Stand, right? And he came to the South Stand first, and no one was around him. It was literally Harry Kane just standing there for a good couple minutes, just clapping. Everyone singing his name, everyone clapping him, and you got that feeling. You just know he's not going to be there next season. You just know it. It's like I don't care what people keep saying about, oh, no one can afford him. Listen, people need to understand that in business you can structure payments, just like we've got a structured payment over the stadium over 20 years, like we did with Gareth Bale. If someone comes in and says to Daniel Levy, we'll give you 160 million for Kane, but we'll structure it over 5 years, do you think he's going to say no? That's revenue he doesn't have to make every season. That's revenue that's coming into the club every season. And do you know what? I kind of feel the same for Son, because I honestly think if Son decides to stay, if Kane walks out on this club, which he deserves to be honest with you, and I know I'm one of these fans who I don't want to say it, but the thing is, we deserve Kane, right? Kane doesn't deserve Spurs, but the problem is the board don't care about Harry Kane. They don't care about Spurs. They just care about making money. But in that kind of respect, if you can argue against that, right? Because if they were actually in the money making business, they should have invested in the team in the right way so that they can actually capitalize on making their brand more global by winning the big trophies, by investing in the team. So, and they'll be selling more merchandise like that. They'll be selling more. They'll get more money on revenue. They'll be in the Champions League in the latter stages more, probably, if they had a better team. And in a business sense, it's such a fucking bad business decision what they've been doing over the last 10 years. And one thing I want to touch on is that just pathetic excuse of a statement that Daniel Levy made. I mean, that is one of the most PR masterclasses from that idiot who's running this club that I've ever seen. It's just that if people believe that, they need to actually get help, because that is what you call definition of an illusionist and a master manipulator. Because what he's done in that statement is he's basically trying to, the words he uses, it's like every single word he uses like a hidden agenda behind the words. And yeah, it's just another thing to appease the fans, really, to say, yeah, we're going to be ambitious. Like, okay, what does ambitious mean? What, you're going to go and buy a 20 million pound Eric Dyer, like another Eric Dyer? What is ambitious? Like, that word, when he uses that word, it's the most frustrating thing I hear come out of that idiot's mouth. Because what literally is ambitious? Like, honestly, what is ambitious for him? It makes no sense.
That's
yeah. Exactly. I mean,
and you know what, Danny? We interviewed Martin Yole this week, right?
I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it after this.
A small snippet of what he said. He said Daniel Levy said to him, "This club needs to be in the top four. This club needs to be in the top four. This club needs to be in the top four." Our ambitions from the hierarchy have not changed since 2004.
Nope.
Since 2004, Danny.
Not at all. And this is the point. Ben. It's fucking sickening, because he sees glory as top four, because glory to him is money. Because I don't care what people say about, oh, he's a fan, he's this, he wants the better for the club. And he always says that stupid statement. He says, oh, it's for the long-term vision of the club. You've been saying that for 20 years. What long term? Are you talking about 60 years from now, when we're in our graves, or like when we've got grey hairs and we're on our deathbeds or whatever? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be saying the same things if he's still there. And he's going to be, oh yeah, it's for the good of the club. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. But for him, the good of the club is making money, because he was an accountant for ENIC, right? Mm-hmm. That's what his job is. He's an accountant, right? He's not a football man. And do you know what tipped it off me even more? Like, in recent weeks, when you heard those quotes come out from the Brighton chairman, when he said when Daniel Levy, he spoke to Daniel Levy, and he basically said, oh, he thought that the ESL the fans would really buy into it, and it would be amazing, and they'd really like the idea of it. And then he could not believe the reception and reaction that he got from the fans that they got. He couldn't believe it. That, for me, tells you of a man who is so disconnected and so blinded by what football is and what Tottenham is about and what we as fans want. And that, for me, tells you that this man's got no idea how to run the football inside of the club. Right. And with them there, we are going to be on this path for the next 10 years, 15 years, if he's still there. God forbid if he's, oh God, I don't even want to know what to think if he's still there for the next 15 years.
Danny, did you went to the game? Did you get your free food?
I got a free fucking buttermilk chicken burger. That's what I got. Free fucking buttermilk chicken burger.
Was it cold? Was it hot?
It was actually hot, funny enough. It was hot. I wish I got it earlier so I could have got some more food for lunch tomorrow. That's what I should have done.
I've seen some just some pictures circulating on social media of people eating raw burgers and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and dodgy pies as well. I'm seeing.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I would not be surprised. I got there about 5:20. I had my drink, had a burger, and yeah, I didn't really want to have anything else because I just didn't trust it, to be honest. But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I mean,
But you didn't wait an hour after the game for the lap of honor then.
No, I only wanted to see Harry Kane's lap of honor, to be honest, because I knew he was going to do something. I just knew it, and I think a lot of us probably expected him to do something, and then just seeing him by himself epitomized our season as well. Like literally, him by himself trying to drag this team through the mud and the dirt, and none of these players are good enough or even have the passion or the heart to even be half the man half the man he is. I mean, it's honestly, I was so frustrated watching that game. I was shouting and screaming at the top of my lungs, and my voice is a bit gone. And most of it was because of how fucking disappointed and all the negative shit that I was chanting. Because these players don't deserve to. Some of these players don't deserve to be at that club. They just don't. And what I'm so upset about is the man who's the most passionate in that team is the one who's going to be leaving, and that for me tells us where our ambition's going. And once he does walk out, because it's not if he's going to go, it's when. Whether it's this season or next season, he's going to go.
Yeah.
And for me, if he's going to go, you might as well get rid of him now, because why would you want to try and build a squad around someone who doesn't want to be there? You're going to leave in a year's time. You might as well try and get what you can for him now. And I feel the same way for Son, because next year he's going to have 1 year left on his contract. So it's going to be less value. So why not? You might as well get rid of him, because all they care about is paying off their debt. They've got a £175 million loan they've got to pay off next May. Where are they going to get that from? It's going to be from these players.
It's no surprise that the only one that cares actually wants to leave. The other ones don't seem to give a shit. So they're happy. They're happy for Spurs to flounder. Whereas the one who actually cares and wants to win things and has ambitions, he's out of here because there's nothing to stick around for.
Yeah, because he knows he knows what's the score. He knows the score. Harry Kane.
He knows because he's a Tottenham fan. He knows how we feel. He's one of us. And just by him standing there for 5 minutes, just literally standing there still, like, and then walking a little bit in the south towards where we were sitting in Southdown, he felt it. You felt it.
But Danny, were you shocked to hear that fans had to wait an hour after the game for the players to reappear for that lap of honor?
Oh, it's disgraceful. Absolutely. That sums up our season. I mean, you could probably say that about so much. Just the performance, the way, just everything about this season. You could put points about how our season's been, but just waiting an hour for the fans to probably for the players to reluctantly want to come out. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't want to see any of them. I mean, they don't deserve to be out on that picture clapping the fans, because the fans are the ones that care. They don't give a shit about us. Like I said, the only one I wanted to wait for was Harry Kane, because that's the only one I care about.
Danny, did you not see anything outside the stadium from the supporters trust or anything like that?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, I know Stel from Tottenham Way and Mr. K were there, and a little bit before, and they were just disappointed at how literally like no one was there. Basically, no one was there. Right. I mean, the fan base is a bit of a joke, if you want my honest opinion.
So how as a fan base can we put ourselves down? Because obviously these protests are not working.
It's such a hard one, Ben, because look, in an ideal world, the only way you're going to really change things is if when people say boycott the games, the problem is you to boycott a game, it doesn't mean going into the stadium and walking out. It means not buying a ticket. But the problem is, if you bought a season ticket, like myself and like you guys, for example, we've already paid for that. And even if we don't want to go, we want to support our team, right? But the problem is, if we don't go and we don't support our team, someone else will, and it might just be another fan who's not been as supportive as the team as, say, we have for the last 20, 30 years. It could be a fan that's only been there for only been supporting the club for a couple of years, and the so-called legacy fans like us, they don't care, do they? It's just everything's in a complete state at this club right now. And I've got when Kane does go, I would have hope if we had a proper system in place behind, like an infrastructure in place where you're going to have a director of football and some things like that, but to kind of like help rebuild the team with minimal spend and buying good young players or whatever, and bedding them in with the current academy players we have, but with the way that Daniel Levy has to have his hand in every little pie. I'm telling you, Daniel Levy probably decided about not cooking some of those fucking burgers today. He probably said, right. He probably said, like, let's leave some of them there, right? Let's maybe not heat up some of those buns. It saves some money on the electricity bill. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that is literally that the detail that man goes into in terms of every single decision that happens in that club. The level of detail that he goes into, and this is why our footballing side of the club has failed.
All right, Danny. It's late at night. We've been streaming for nearly 2.5 hours now.
Look,
so
you need to get off and have some rest and try sleep tonight, because you're going to be at it tomorrow again.
Exactly. Back online tomorrow for the morning after show, how we delve even deeper and dissect even deeper into this game. And apparently we're supposed to be on Sky Sports tomorrow morning as well. So
look out that should be interesting.
Yeah, look out for that one.
I will. Boys, I love everything you do. I mean, you guys are absolute legends to these Spurs community, and try and enjoy the last bit of the night.
Thanks, mate. Well, have a good one tonight, and we'll speak to you the next time.
Cheers, boys.
See you, Danny.
Cheers, Danny.
See ya.
See you later.
And a last super chat here from Rashad Chowdhury says, "Thank you guys thank you guys for everything you do and you did during the pandemic. Hoping Spurs will get going in coming seasons, and we'll be back at the top level."
Then we can't have them on. Sorry. Oh, you finished?
Oh, we're finished now, yeah.
All right, cool. I think that is it for today. 2 hours and 15 minutes of Tottenham therapy. The clock stops now. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the morning after show, player ratings, and the 5 takeaways. And if you're even very lucky, you might see a snippet of us on Sky Sports News tomorrow as well, as they've asked us to dissect what is going wrong at Tottenham at the moment. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for you guys tuning in with us today. It's been a long day, a long, hard day. What I can just do is reiterate the message that is on there. Today is too dear. Enoch out. Profit over glory. That is what we're dealing with right now. Like I said, once again, thank you everyone for joining the stream today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.